those are the activities promoted by the city of Nanchang in recent years. And when you come to the city of Nanchang, please do not miss the Tongwang Pavilion, which was very famous in the past, especially presented by a famous poet. And this is another intangible cultural heritage of the Nanchang city, that is the painting on the porcelain plate. After the painting, you will put it into the oven in order to burn it to give it colors. Actually, from our camera, it's hard to tell it's a porcelain plate. So let's give you a closer look at it. That is the final product. It looks like a photo. It's so real. It's a realistic style of painting. Could we touch it? And you can hear the sound. It's actually the porcelain, the real ones. And the experts drawing, painting here, they are the real experts and high professionals. Otherwise, we would not invite them to do the performances for you. Although this lady looks very young, but she has a lot of experience in the drawing. My name is Fang Bailei. And with this painting going on, what is the name of it? Actually, I'm doing the adjustment to the portrait. I'm making it more real by adding up more details to the hair, to the eye, to the skin, etc. For the porcelain plate painting, for Nanchang, we do portraits a lot. But from other areas, they also do the scenery painting. And you have also a special choices of the pigments because we have to put them into the kiln for the raising of the temperature. So after 2 and 3 rounds of burning, we can see the pigments and the color changing. After those 2 or 3 rounds of burning, and we should add up some more pigments in order to make our color of the painting more vivid. When you are painting, you should be an expert on the temperature reaction, and you know what it will look like after the burning. It started by the end of Ming Dynasty and the beginning of the Qing Dynasty. Is it burned or not? No, it's yet before the first burning. We have to add up more details to the face and also to different parts. As we mentioned before, the porcelain plate painting of Nanchang belongs to the National Intangible Cultural Heritage. And today, along the introduction to the exhibition, you can run into a lot of examples like this. They are all intangible cultural heritages. So, dear audience, along the visit, if you have something that you want to discuss with us or something you want to discover with the heritage, please do not hesitate to contact with us. People have different tastes. For the same food, they may prefer different tastes. So feel free to share with us your taste and your preferences. And we say that the world is so big, please do not hesitate to discover it. So today we are about to bring to you the beautiful scenery and, more important, the culture of the province. And this is the embroidery with the hair. That means we will make a painting with the embroidery of the hair. And here people are making a painting of the Confucius. But you have already revealed the secrets to us. Without mentioning that, we cannot imagine that they are painting with the hair. Actually, they are not using the traditional materials to do the embroidery. They are doing this performance with the hair. And including the Chinese characters there, they're also made of hair. And the expert is working carefully on it. And there's another expert, Madam Tao. And all the painting is based on the hair, right? Yes. It has a long history. Dated back to the period of Yao Shun. The first embroidery work in Chinese history is made of the hair. In the past, people used it to replace the tattoo in order to pay tribute to the god of the sky. And in the past, people also have the habit to use the lanuga to make the brush. And what is the special feature of the hair painting? You have different caliber of the painting hair in different places. We will sometimes use the thinner one and sometimes with the stronger ones. For people who know something about the Chinese traditional painting, that is the famous one, the visit around the tomb sweeping day. And you can see the different colors on the scroll. This is the full painting. Everything you can discover there made of hair. You can touch it with your finger. It will not break it. You can even give a swipe on it. We can even put it in the water. We have discovered it with a turbine format of the embroidery. All the small characters there, each one of them are in their own feature, and this one is so live. All the details are presented here, and it's 100% full embroidery. And the color comes from the natural vegetation. We have dyed in with the natural pigments. This is a scroll of 10 meters. We spent 2 years on that. And everything is made by hand because you cannot use the equipment or the machines to help us. And you know that for the natural hair, the caliber changes. It's thinner by the end and it's stronger by the beginning, by the root. And for the embroidery based on the hair, you have different ways to manage the needle. In total, we have 40 of them. But for this single scroll of 10 meters, we already devoted about 20 different types of the needling. We know the embroidery of Sichuan and the embroidery of Suzhou are very famous. For example, the double-side embroidery. What is the difference from the painting with hair and the painting with the silk? It's easier to do the painting and embroidery with the silk. It's much more difficult with the hair because the hair may have the tendency to stand up. But once fixed on the surface, it's very solid and we can touch it. We can even wipe it and clean it. And this painting of the old man, the hair comes from the same person, right? Yes. It can be a very good souvenir for the whole family. We can pass this painting down from one generation to another. Another interesting object to show to you. This is a marriage certificate. Apart from the official and legal certificate for the marriage, we have another proposal like this. In a traditional way, we use the hair from the bride and the groom to make this painting, because in traditional society, we say that when one couple is formed, when a man is married to a lady, then they should tie their hair together. And here we use the same philosophy. We have observed a lot of unfamiliar objects and works here. For example, the ordinary hair can be turned into the artistic works. We can turn those strings of hair into the painting. It's like a magic. And later, for the rest of the show, you can find a lot of similarities. We do not have pure literature descriptions, but more importantly, we have the on-the-spot show by the experts and also the artistic performances. For the younger generation, they may think that the intangible cultural heritage is away from their daily life. However, it's not true. In this exhibition, they can get very close to the traditional art and also get close to the intangible cultural heritage. And there are even some souvenirs for you to bring back home. For example, the artistic and the cultural souvenirs. And you can also bring some souvenirs back by using your mobile phone. There are some applications to help you. It can facilitate the promotion of the culture and enable people to enjoy the cultural heritage. And we move to the next stand, that is Jingdezhen. Outside, there is a big photo showing the royal kiln. The kiln has already received the support from President Xi Jinping. The president himself had sent twice the advices for the protection of this traditional royal kiln. And once we are inside the pavilion of Jingdezhen, we are into one kingdom of porcelain. Talking about the province of Jiangxi, you may directly think about Nanchang and Jiangxi, and the third city you're about to mention is Jingdezhen. For the Qing dynasty, the emperors have favored the porcelains of Jingdezhen. And we have invited Madam Gao to give us some more details about the objects. This is a porcelain bottle to simulate one bottle king of the porcelain. You have the blue color, pink color. This is the pink color. And also the different layers to simulate the different objects during the Qing dynasty. For example, the blue and white porcelain, and here is coated with gold, and one with the animal, and another is the dark blue layer, and some colorful layers. And this is the official kiln. And this layer is to simulate another object from the ancient dynasties with even the black points stressed. And the real one is now kept in the Forbidden City, the National Palace Museum. And we call it the bottle kiln because we have mixed the different features of something of everything inside one bottle. Even in today's China, you need diversified technologies to support you in order to have this object. And talking about Jingdezhen city, we can think of one cup and also another famous painting. And this is a highlight object kept by the Jingdezhen Museum. And this is the famous bottle that they present here with the white and blue color. Here we have the three-dimensional presentation. So with the presentation of the three-dimensional technology, you can see how this ancient object can travel from Jingdezhen city to the Nanchang city and from the old dynasties to today's China. And this object is dated back to the Yuan dynasty. And those smaller pieces, are they all from the Yuan dynasty? This one, yes. But this one is from the Qing dynasty. And these ones are with the blue and white color. And with a super high temperature, they will stick to each other. During the archaeological development, we have discovered a lot of kilns buried already underneath the ground. Especially there is an official kiln. The official kiln is also named as the royal kiln. They are made to serve the imperial court, and the objects made by this official kiln can only go to the imperial court. And when we mention the Jingdezhen, we say that they have invited the craftsmen from four corners of the country. And those are the porcelain made of China but exported to other countries. And these are the porcelain objects sold by China in the dynasty of Ming and dynasty of Qing, and then they have been transported back to the motherland. And by the look of them, you can tell that those are the objects made for the foreign clients. You can see the Western features like the small angels on it. The porcelain is considered by the foreign friends the gold in the color of white. It's a kind of symbol of a fortune and to show their special social status. This collection comes from Belgium. In the middle, it's the pattern. So their style may vary a little bit from our traditional objects of porcelain because you want to attract the attention of the foreign clients. And to another side, you can tell that they are very inclusive. They do not push the other features away. You can find 17 or more different foreign decorations on that. And by the ancient Silk Road, we have exported those porcelains to the other foreign countries, and people outside China started to get to know this country. And according to a foreign professor, the first globalization comes from the trading of porcelain in the 16th century. For the porcelain making, just now we have talked about the traditional making of the porcelain, but today we have the 3D painting, the modern technology to make porcelain. What is your name? You can call me Huang. Are you using the 3D printing technology to make the porcelain? Yes, exactly. With a PC terminal, we can design our prototype, and then we make the preliminary processing. Then the machine will produce the porcelain. Later, you still have to put it into the kiln in order to burn them, right? Yes. And what is the special power of the 3D printing? For example, this one, the shape cannot be made by man, or it could be very difficult for a man hand to make it, but it's quite easy for the 3D painting. For the traditional porcelain making, first of all, you have to make a mold, and then based on the molding, you can get to the shape of the object that you want. But now you can directly get the shape you want with 3D painting. We also have the utilization of porcelain in some other areas like the pharmaceuticals and also the medical care. Once we have the 3D painting, then it can be very precise in the size and also in the shape of the objects. After making the whole tour inside the pavilion of Jingdezhen, we have discovered a lot of highlights. However, we cannot continue lingering inside because there are other pavilions waiting for us. Talking about the famous people in Jiangxi province, Yang Wanli, Tao Yuanming, Ouyang Shou, and to name a lot. And the next pavilion is Shangrao. By the entrance, this is a big screen. And here is the 3D technology that you can observe with your bare eyes. This is another important philosopher called Zhu Xi, and he's originated from Shangrao. And one important sub-region is Wuyuan, and another mountain, that is the mountain of Sanqing, is also in the city of Shangrao. All those beautiful sceneries are there for centuries for you to discover. Now I'd like to show you something that you have never imagined before. This is a sculpture. And what is it made of? And we ask this expert to reveal the answer. This is made of the pomelo. We can use different tools to form the pattern. Actually, it's not a sculpture. We use the fingers to get to these patterns, and then after the 1 or 2 months of drying period, you can get this pattern fixed. For example, this one, before maturing, we collect this pomelo, And then with the time going on and also the changes of the weather, they can also show you some modifications of color and the size. And for this one, first of all, you have to stuff something inside. So you can directly work on the surface of the pomelo. You stuff something inside, and when the whole inner space is consolidated, you can work on the surface. I have spent dozens of years on the development of this technology, and today it has become a highlight of Shangrao City, and pomelo is also a featured agricultural product of Shangrao. Another professional is making the paper cutting. For example, this one, the little dog. Can you imagine that this is a paper cutting work, and this is like the Spring Festival paper cutting? As this professional is making the portrait, the profile of this little girl. So he can accomplish this in 2 to 3 minutes. Taking this moment, we can show you more work of this expert. Whatever angle you take, it's hard for you to believe that this is a paper cutting work. How could you make it so realistic? Just now, the pomelo had a very long history, and for the audience, it's hard for you to believe because it's so fragile after so many years of conservation. All those technologies from the ancient dynasties can give us the surprises. The pomelos can be kept for a lot of years, and paper too. Paper can be passed on from one century to another. It can be kept by thousands of years. And paper making is a complicated and long procedure. However, it's very soft, the final product. When you turn the pages, you can barely hear the sound. There's no noise. This is a special type of paper called the 连石 paper. This is a book to give you one idea of the quality of the paper. And over there, the final step of the profile of the little girl. In order to do the paper cutting for the profile of a person, you have to be really good at the observation. And then you have to do some package. Now this work is accomplished. When you come to the exhibition in the museum, you can have an interaction with those professionals and to have your personal experience with them. Intangible cultural heritage. For the Guangxi paper cutting, we have 3 different skills of the cutting. This belongs to the 3rd category. It's also one of the national intangible cultural heritage, and for this category number 3, it can be really realistic in your work presentation. And now we're about to leave the Shangrao exhibition. This is the pavilion of Pingxiang. Pingxiang is the birthplace of the workers' movement. Here some experts are doing the performance with the shadow dance. And letters come from the bulls, and they have just received a big award. Now the shadow puppet play is going on. Actually, we should move to the other side of the screen to enjoy the performance. Okay, from this side, you can see so many audience. They have gathered here to enjoy the play. Every day, they will do different presentations of the shadow puppet show. So people can have some personal experience with this shadow puppet play. I wonder whether I could manage this puppet play on myself. So later we can ask the professional to show us some tips, and we can have a try by ourselves. So in our daily life, we have heard of this a lot of times, but we have never got a chance to put our hands on it. So during our childhood, in the cartoon movies, we have seen this performance, and it's also accompanied by the traditional instruments. Today, they have made some innovations on the plays. Let's get to the backstage of the performance again. The professionals are making the play. We find one modern figure. Usually we can see the theater-based traditional figures, but now this is a very modern one. We can control the different body parts. Say hi to the audience. It's made of the oak's leather. So it's made of the leather of the bull. But why is it transparent? Because we have made some processing. If it is not transparent, then it will not look so good on the screen. What are the techniques that you have applied on the leather? We have made and prepared different plays for the audience to share with people the stories of today's China. Some of the stories are from ancient China, but some others are from the modern times. How many sticks do you have for each personage? With this one, only 2 sticks, because it's easier for us to manage the person. Today we have several modern stories. For example, to tell the story about the poverty alleviation and also people's life in the modern times. In this case, to do the performance, you have to use the more flexible figures. That's why we use the 2 sticks. But this one has 3 sticks. You can manage it with 1 person only. With 3 sticks, you can move more parts of the body of the chicken, but it's more difficult for the figure to turn around. So, different types of sticks have their own advantages. You can not only admire the performances, but also you can have a taste of the traditional food. For example, here you have the grapefruit skin food and also the food made of other natural materials. This is pomelo too. Looks like radish. This is the skin of the pomelo covered with sugar. It's very good for your health. In Jiangxi province, a lot of yummy food waiting for you. And another thing that you can think of is the pepper. Pepper is really famous. Next pavilion is Yichun. Yichun is famous for the annual exchange of medicines. Here is a very big scroll telling the story of ancient book, that is the Tiangong Kai Wu. On the scroll, there are 12 procedures for things making. For example, you open this one. This is a procedure of porcelain making. So in total, there are 12 procedures for the manufacturing. And this book, Tiangong Kai Wu, is elaborated by one person originated from Jiangxi province. And just now we have also named a few important figures like the poets and writers. In Jiangxi. Next city of Jiangxi is Xinyu. It's a relatively small city, but it has also enriched culture. Good morning. My name is Wu Wanjing. And this work is grass linen embroidery. Could you please first introduce to us what is it, the grass linen? The grass linen is handmade clothing made locally in Jiangxi province. And based on this very natural material, we have developed embroidery. In 2004, it is classified as one of the national intangible cultural heritage. Once you combine the technology of the embroidery and the making of the grass linen, then it's marvelous. It has shown the features of the geographic indication. This is a fan. It's called the grass linen, and in the Chinese language, it's also the summer linen. Does it mean that people will use this linen clothing more often in summertime? Yes, it's very good to regulate the temperature on your body. So in the summer days, you want to put on the grass linen or the summer linen so it can keep you cool. And for the characteristics of the grass linen, first of all, it's already special in the material itself. And then it can be adapted to different scenarios. We have innovated the utilization of the needlings, and it looks ancient, so the color can give us a feeling of the ancient China. That is why today the pattern we have chosen for the paintings and the embroidery on the grass linen is more traditional paintings. At first glance, it looks like the traditional painting on the traditional paper. You can also create different effects. For example, the fading of the ink and also the smaller points that can be realized on the grass linen embroidery. In other paintings, we stress the details, but here it's more important to give people the feeling to create the atmosphere. We want to have the synergy and the harmony between the needle techniques and also the grass linen. This is a painting of the mountain and rivers. From this painting, you can admire the beautiful scenery of the Jiangxi province and also the wisdom of the people. In one work made in the dynasty of the East Jin, it is said that there are 7 beautiful ladies coming from heaven, and they have arrived in the Xinyu city. After visiting so many city pavilions, we find that each of them is different from the other. Also in Jiangxi, we discover a lot of academies. For example, in Zhejiang, we have the Bailu, the White Deer College. And also in Shangrao, another famous academy. And also the revolution-based culture. Today, Jiangxi is making efforts to promote the culture in different areas. For example, the revolution-based culture, the porcelain-based culture, environmental-friendly culture. And now we come to the pavilion of Yingtan. By the entrance, you can see a big character. In Chinese, it means this is called Fu, and it means the good luck. And here are 39 bronze kettles. Because in the pronunciation, the kettle and the good luck sound alike. Especially when people speak with an accent, they are likely to mix the words good luck and the kettle. The city of Yingtan also has a long history, and here the mountain of Longhu, the mountain of tiger and dragon, is located inside the city of Yingtan. There are performances in the mountain area. And we have one guide here. Could you please give us some more details? In the mountain of Tiger and Dragon, there are ancient coffins discovered, and then people have to hand themselves down to the bottom of the valley and then raise the coffin. And this is one traditional musical instrument discovered. With this object, we can say that the history of traditional music of China can be put even further back to the old times by 700 years. And this is Zhang Tianshi, one big master of the culture of Taoism. Different pavilions inside this Taoist temple. This is constructed in the Northern Song dynasty, and after centuries, finally during the years of the People's Republic, it is burned down in a big fire. We have also discovered the colored glaze in the burned relics of this temple of Taoism. So it means in the past it has been used as a Taoist temple for the service of the imperial court. Thank you for your introduction. So let's get to the next station. And just now we have admired the beauty of the relics and also the ancient objects. You have to go to the place in the cities and areas to have the witness by your own eyes. And talking about Zhoujiang, by its side there is the lake of Poyang, and Poyang is the location of a lot of the migrant birds. And we come to Ganzhou now. And the old Soviet government has been created here in Ganzhou. We say that Anyuan is the birthplace of the movement of the workers, and Nanchang is the birthplace of the revolution, and here in Ganzhou is the birthplace of the Soviet culture and the Soviet government. A lot of literals have lived here in this place, and the farmers in the locale have helped to promote these literatures. For example, here in Wan'an County, the farmers have used their wisdom and their own ways to express the feelings. Very simple ways of artistic expression, but they have presented totally the lovely sides of the life and of the people, including the little children. You can discover a lot of artistic treasures here. For example, this one, we could ask our guide for some details. For the kiln of Jizhou, this is a civil kiln. It has a history of 600 years. For the products of this kiln, is in the color of black. Back to the Song Dynasty, they have made the objects in dark colors. They have innovated a lot. For example, this one has a diameter of nearly 1 meter. Inside the bowl, you have incarnated the leaves of the vegetation. And these are the leaves of the Folium mari. We think that the Folium mari they are closely connected with the Zen spirit. And once you have these leaves, it means that you can get very close to the Buddha. And then for the tea making, in ancient China, the littorals, they have a lot of cultural activities. For example, the tea drinking and the poem writing, etc. This step, you use the special tool to make the bubbles and even the foam. And then you can use the foam with the color to draw the paintings. Now you can see we have made the brown foam. This tool is very popular tool. People don't drink tea just because they are thirsty. It's a kind of symbol of culture. In the Tang Dynasty and Song Dynasty, people can enjoy their tea in this way. In a recent TV series show, we have observed these cultural forms like the tea drinking and flower arranging. Now people start to make paintings or practice Chinese calligraphy on the surface of the tea with the foam and also the powder. According to the color and the thickness of the foam, you can tell how good you are at making the tea. For the teacups and the teapot, the set is very famous. It's collected by the tea lovers and also the foreign museums. Today's people have developed and even revived the traditional technologies of the teapot making. After following this long way of presentation, we'd like to show you something lighter and something that will cheer you up. We come to the Fuzhou Pavilion. There's one famous writer that is Mr. Tang Xianzu. He has presented an important work that is the Peony Pavilion. In the UK, there's also one pavilion like this. And we say Mr. Tang, the famous writer, can be considered as the Shakespeare of the Orient. And now they are playing one part from the theater play, the Peony Pavilion. They give the show every day during different hours. Today is quite crowded inside. Abundant visitors come to enjoy the exhibition and the show. They are very professional performers. With the beautiful music from the play of Peony Pavilion, we can ask our guide, also an expert, to tell us something about the theater and opera of Fuzhou. We have introduced the good things from outside and also made an external exhibition. For example, the Peony Pavilion that you can watch on the spot. And also, we made the promotion of the traditional opera and theater in schools. And over there, one movie that has the ticket box value of 100 million yuan. And here on the screen, you can enjoy the VR technology to have the real look of the museum. You can have the presentation in 720 degrees. This is the starting period of the opera. And you have made the presentation of the clothing. All those clothes for the show are made by hand. Apart from the Peking opera and the Kun opera, what are the other forms of the opera? Here inside, more than 300 schools of opera. In our museum, you can get to know some more knowledge about the different opera schools. For example, the school of Huangmei. Introduction of it. In the pavilion of Fuzhou, you can enjoy one performance of Peony Pavilion, and for the neighbor pavilion, you can also enjoy other performances. And talking about the artistic performances, you have a lot of it in Jiangxi. And also there are dances and songs to celebrate the harvest of tea leaves. And that's why the Jiangxi province is considered as a big family of the operas, because we have 27 of it. 27 different types of operas. Now it's already at noon. We made our tour inside 1 hour, but we cannot go into details. If you have a chance, please do not hesitate to come to the province, come to the exhibition in the museum. We think that the culture flows like a river. It's connecting the past and the future. You can see how the ancestors have lived and how we can pass this culture from one generation to another. So many highlights, they are shining like the bright like the brilliant start. So please come to the province of Jiangxi, and we are waiting for you in the province. So see you next time. Bye bye.